Before we can begin working with the number system, we really need to have a very good understanding of how the number system is built. So in order to do that, we've put together a little PowerPoint that talks about it. Now, the very first set of numbers that you ever learn is called the natural numbers or the counting numbers. And we call them this simply because it's how you learn to count. Whenever you first start watching Sesame Street or whatever and you learn to count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, so on and so forth. That is the very first set of numbers you ever learn. Then as we get just a little bit older, we begin to realize that there are some things that are missing from that scenario. And the big thing that's missing at this point would be 0. There is no 0 in this set of numbers. So now we have a new set of numbers. We get just a little bit older and we realize that the numbers actually start 0 and then go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and so on and so forth. But then we still don't have a way to describe things like temperatures that are below 0. Like what the weatherman on TV talks about the low temperature in Minot, North Dakota, in the middle of the winter time, or if you're short on money. This scenario doesn't have a way of describing that. So as we get a little bit older, we learn that there are things called negative numbers. And the negative numbers mirror the positive numbers, but on the opposite side of 0. Now when we put together the negative numbers along with 0 and the positives, which remember 0 and the natural numbers is called the whole number set. When we add the negative numbers to that, we have a new set that's called the integers. But we still don't have any way to describe parts of things, part of a cake, part of an inch, part of a pizza. So we learn that there are these things called fractions. And fractions are anything that is written in the form of a numerator and a denominator, a integer on top and an integer on bottom. It's a ratio of integers. These are called the rational numbers. Anything that can be written in the form of a fraction is called a rational number. So now, reviewing our sets, we have our first set is the natural numbers. When we add 0 to that, we have the whole numbers. Then, when we add the negatives to that, that entire set now is called the integers. When we add in fractions, or things that can be written as fractions, now the entire set is called the rational numbers. The rational numbers include the whole numbers, because if you think about it, the number 5 can be written as 5 over 1, which is a fraction. Now, we also have things that are called irrational numbers, and these are numbers that cannot be written as a fraction. Things like pi or e, these are just numbers, the square root of 2, the square root of 10, and so on and so forth. They cannot be written as a fraction because they are non-terminating, non-repeating decimals. When we add the irrational numbers together with the rational numbers, now we have an entire set that's called the real numbers. Now, as you move further on in math, you'll discover that that's not the entire number set, but it's enough to get us started.